Hello, this is going to be a tutorial on how to make armors for your game using the RCK creation kit. It's pretty simple, but I'm going to give you the whole run through, the long way around, because this is a setup that's a little bit more advanced than what I think most people would expect. So I just thought it would be handy to make a tutorial, video tutorial, to kind of go through everything. This is going to be made more for a beginner's level. So this is an outfit that I grabbed from DAZ, daz3d.com. It is I can't even remember. Apologies there. But it was actually made for Poser, I should say, so it took a lot of work to convert that to DAZ and get everything set up. Way more than what I would have liked to have done. But it goes good for my game, and so I'm going to use it. We are going to be seeing lots of issues like this texture, the materials. It's horrible, and there's a lot of clipping. This is not going to work out very good. Let's see here. We're going to have to add something for the I don't know, these claw things are supposed to be dangling down. So here we go. I export it from DAZ, and of course it shoots out millions, I mean just an insane amount of materials and textures. That drives me crazy. Number one, I usually export using the developer model, so everything's just gray, which is fine. I really don't want those anyways. But for everything else, I normally just shove it inside of a folder that I call materials. And you don't have to do any of this stuff this way, but this is to help you get an idea to stay organized. The materials, for me, that's going to include the FBX, my actual materials, and the textures. I'll make another one called parts. That parts is going to have the prefabs and the InWorld prefabs. Then I'll have a third folder, which is going to be for the sprites that you'll have in game if you're using this kit. Again, this is centered strictly towards the RCK creation kit. Now, there is going to be a whole lot more useful information on just basic making an armor for your game in here as well. So I hope that you will be enjoying that. Oh, that's cool. It's D-Force stuff. But we're not using D-Force, so I just get rid of that. Okay. And I'm just basically going to drag and drop everything that I can inside the materials. Some things are going to complain saying that it's already exists in that folder. Do you want to move over? We're going to be selecting no. So most likely, I'm just going to be skipping the rest of this part, or fast forward through it. Here we are. Here's the first one. I may have spoke too soon. The file being moved, blah, conflicts with the one that's already there. I'm not going to keep both. I'm just going to skip the file because we don't want duplicates. We do not want duplicates. So any materials that are using these textures that I already have, I'm just going to reassign them to the one that all that boringness. There is tons and tons of files that were duplicates, which is I expected that, no joke. That's how DAZ normally is. What I do is I use the DAZ to Unity plugin, and doing that, it doesn't really detect if a file already exists. I don't know if it really can. It probably could if they took some more effort into it, but it's a really good plugin, and it's free. So you can always find free stuff that is on DAZ or DAZ-like websites, and you'll find some really good stuff in there that you'll probably fall in love with and use in your game. So I do highly suggest it. It is really good quality most of the time. Every once in a while you will find junk, but that's everywhere. Anyways, we're going back to the materials, and there is what seems like a million Whew, there's a lot of them. It really makes no sense for most of those to exist, especially these. Like, all of these are exactly the same. Well, I mean, there might be a smidge bit of difference in one of the digits whenever you come up here to the inspector. You'll see that I'm using URP, by the way, as you can see right here. And one thing I really frown on is I'm actually using the unofficial plugin. It uses an Uber material. Now, that's something that DAZ has. it does not look good in Unity. It just doesn't. So we're going to go through all of these, and we're just going to change that to a regular metallic, I would say, URP metallic. And on, excuse me, it's almost fall over here, so I'm already getting allergies. But when it comes to clothing and skin, things that are going to be in high detail that the player is going to be looking at a lot, I want to use DAZ materials because they're a higher quality. But things like rocks, grass, things that the player is not really going to be focusing on, I'm going to be using lit, which is a lightweight material that we will definitely want to use. So anyways, I'm going to be doing URP metallic on all those, and they'll convert right over nice and easy, which as you see it did. And really, we're going to want to do this to all of them, which this is my own fault for not having this done already. So I'll just get past all this and do all this on my own. Okay, so now I've went through and I corrected all the materials, which again is not normal, but I have that issue in mind that I need to fix one of these days. Anyways, so there is still tons and tons of textures and materials. One of the first things that you will notice also is you want to right click on any of your textures that you have. This is part of the reason why we throw them all into one folder as well. Let's see what it looks like Explorer. And this is how I look at my dimensions. Probably type in DIM, it'll take you there faster. I don't know what I was thinking about not. There we go. And filter it by the dimensions. You'll notice that most of these are not the correct. Okay, so the website is called Bulk Resize Photos. That's where I go. I can do it myself, nice and easy, but not nearly as fast, not nearly as easily. So, as a suggestion, where was I? Here I am. I don't know, I have so many folders open. So as a suggestion, I do not suggest to use really anything over 4K on such of a small piece, which is an outfit. Now, if you're talking about a mountain, yeah, 4K would probably be the easy to say the way to go. But I do want pretty high quality on my outfit, so I'm gonna go up pretty high and use 2K on things that are already pretty close to it. All this stuff here is just going to be 2K by 2K. All the way, yep, all the way through pretty much. They're all JPGs. And I don't want to include that TIF. I'll have to edit it manually, because I don't think they have a setting for TIFs. But anyways, all you got to do is just drag and drop in here. And mine's already set for 2K by 2K. I do not check that. I think by default that's going to be checked for you. Mine's already kind of set up. And I use image dimensions. Mine's set for JPEG, which is what I'm using. Image quality, you can set that to whatever you like, and as long as you keep your originals, you can kind of just go and play with it. Set it for 100, set it for 10, get to what you like. Okay, this is kind of my all-around setting is just this, which actually I think I normally put it down about 90. There we go. Then you just hit start, and look how fast it's converting those files. That's glorious. In the meantime, I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to copy that folder path, because that's going to be my next step. It's putting it all inside of a zip file for me, and it just automatically downloads. You can't complain about how nice and easy that works. Then we're just going to extract to where the folder was, and it'll say, do you want to overwrite? For me, I do. Now we can come on over here. It'll just re-import all those pictures, the images for me. There we go. Now, I suggest, again, that you want everything in a, I think they call it square dimensions, where everything can be divided by 64 bytes, basically, or 64 in general. So that's 1K is 1024, 2K is 2048, and 4K is 4096. But you can have 1K by 2K and much smaller. You can have it, it doesn't have to be perfectly square, but it does need to be within the same dimensions that is divisible by 64. Reason being is that the crunch compression doesn't work as efficiently. You can read all about that. There's a whole bunch of stuff about it, and I really agree with them that it needs to be that way. So since our images are done, except for that TIF, which I'll go back and do it manually by myself using GIMP, you really can't start cutting out the materials yet. We're going to have to do that inside of Blender. So I have Blender already open, and I was editing UVs earlier, so now I need to go down to layout, which would be normal. And I'm going to import my FBX, and let's see here. DAZ always puts things inside the DAZ folder, and this is the priest outfit, or priestess. 117 megabyte. That is very insanely high. There's got to be something. Okay, so I was kind of playing with this a little bit before this video, and man, I kept on destroying it actually, which is pretty bad. I'm not really happy with the outfit that I chose to use here. It's not very good to use as an example because it's very different. But anyways, whenever you import in something from DAZ, the first thing you'll notice is this goofy pose that it's in. It is not correct. First thing you want to do is go to Armature and then go to rest position. That'll straighten it out pretty decently. And then we're going to want to actually hide the armature so those bones won't be hiding everything. And you'll notice the spear. It's definitely not supposed to be there. But for now, I'm just going to hide it because I really don't know exactly what I'm going to do as far as using that. I might not even use it in my game, so I'm just kind of setting it to the side for now. And some things that I found along the way, I'm going to go ahead and just remove. So excuse this part. I need to get rid of that. And this piece way down here. Actually, I'll go ahead and show you a simple trick that Silvamat has on his page. Now, I'm using a DAZ setup, so my body's already DAZ and this outfit is already DAZ. So the weights are already set. I don't have to do anything on mine. But this isn't going to be the case for many people. So, to show you that, I have the piece of outfit that I want to add weight to. And then you will want to hold down Shift and click on a part of the armature, which for me is that right there. And then after that, you want to hit Control and P. And then you want to use the with automatic weights. Now originally, that piece that I had down here, is that it? Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? Originally, it didn't have any weights on it at all. Now it does. That's how we add weights to something. But I'm not really planning on using that. So let's go ahead and hide the armature back so I can work on this. There's the spear stuff. That there is the streamers for the spear wrap, because we want to hide the spear stuff for now. And that whining that you may or may not hear is my dog. He likes to go inside and then outside, then inside, then outside. I'm trying to get him to quit doing that, so I make him stay for an hour at least, whichever direction he goes. So he is upset with me. But anyways, let's see here. What do I want to start off with? I want to start off with the skirt. Now, the issue that I was having a little bit ago was we want to hide everything else except for the skirt. That way I can work on it. The skirt and the body. But anyways, the piece that I was having quite a bit of trouble with was whenever I use unsubdivide, it was tearing apart my outfit, so to say. The UV, at least. The outfit was fine. It was just the UV. I'm not really sure how to go about not doing that, so I'm going to skip the optimizations as far as unsubdividing, and I'll just go back and do that myself and figure out what the heck is up with this outfit, because it shouldn't be doing that, but it is. So anyways, let's see here. I don't want that piece, so I'm going to delete it out. Okay, so now that I got that deleted, I got the skirt, and let's take a look if there's, yep, there's quite a bit of clipping. Looks like they actually cut it down through here a little ways, which is kind of strange, but let's see if I can't fix that up a little bit. The last thing we want is clipping. Clipping is bad. We're going to go down to sculpt mode and click on that one, add, make this a little bit bigger. Well, maybe it's not clipping, it just looks like it is because of the way they did it. Here, just hit Control-Z a few times to undo all that, because it's surprisingly just fine. I didn't expect that. I thought that was all clipping. So we'll just actually, another thing you can do for optimizing, which I looked at it myself already in the previous one that I just cut out, because it was full of mistakes. Anyways, we got skirt and skirt hem. They're both the exact same thing. There's just slight different in one of the settings, but we're just going to find something in between to make it look good on both sides. So we're just going to remove the skirt hem. So what it does is the skirt hem part, which was way down here, it is now going to be using, or both of these, all of this mesh is now going to be using the one material. That'll save you on draw call and lots of rendering that we don't need to be using. So now that we got that, we want to work on this piece, and we want to go down to sculpt, and I want to bring this out a little bit, make it a little bigger. Here we go, nice and easy. So we want to try to cut out as much clipping as possible. That's the whole idea here. Something I found in my experience of editing other people's games is that it's okay to be a little bit further away from the body. People don't notice as much. But if you're a little bit too close, everybody notices, and it's ugly, and people don't like that. So I will tell you, it is better to have it a little bit away from the body, better than it is to be really close, too close to it and starts clipping. If you are making your game in Japan, or Chinese, or whatever, Asian, then for some reason which is crazy to me. They, whoops, that was not supposed to happen. They don't care really about clipping, at least not as much. It's kind of wild. Something that just blew my mind when I realized that. To them, clipping is just not a big deal, or at least they act like it's not a big deal. As our culture, my culture, clipping is the difference between good and bad. I had a lot of trouble with that piece last time too. I was going to make this really big and pull it all the way out. That way I don't got to deal with it. There we go. Let's take a look at it. I got it. And I'm going to smooth it out. Okay. All is good there. I think we fixed all the clipping. But we see all these materials it uses, and that is a lot. Let's go look in the game real quick, and I'm going to see what all these are. We got belt 1, belt 2, belt end. See if those are the same materials or not. Let me see. Belt. Belt 1 is obviously nothing. So your belt 1 is, what does that look like? Okay, and then belt 2. Belt 1 and belt 2 are the same. Belt pattern, belt 1 pattern. Okay, belt 1 and 2 and the patterns are obviously the exact same. Minus settings a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that. Now I need to find belt end pattern, and top folds. Those will probably all be the exact same as well, I'll bet you. Belt end pattern, which are also the same. And now was it belt folds? Belt, or top folds, okay. Top folds. Oh, that is the same. Okay, so wait, top folds 1, but 2 is actually a little bit different. I'll tell you what, I am just going to make it all into one and not worry about it. Let's see what happens. Let's click on, whoops, this one. Okay. And you can just start removing them. If this is the choice you want to go, you don't have to remove anything. But as for me, I want to save me some, save me a whole bunch of rendering. Whole bunch. Yeah, everything looks fine. And I'm going to delete that first one there and see what that does. There's the difference. It was that. So what if I delete that one? What will that do? Oh. Okay. Well, I'll keep it down to 2 because those are different. So there we go. There's that part. And I don't remember going around with this top. I must have activated it and not realized it. We got some clipping down here. Oh. Is this all part of the same? No, it's because of that. That's why. So your skirt. Yeah, I'm still working on the skirt. Okay. So let's click on smooth. See if that makes yeah, that makes it worse. We're just going to go down to here. There we go. Yeah. I'm happy with that. I think we got rid of all the clipping. So now we're going to go. Now we're going to go to the top, and I think it might be best if I try smoothing that out. There we go. Let's see if that fixes it. Yep, that did it. Okay, that actually seemed to have gotten rid of all the clipping, for as I can tell. And I guess I can take this back to smooth shading. There we go. For me, most of the time I can see everything better with smooth shading. Sometimes the colors make things blend too easily. But there seems to be no clipping on there, so we're good on that part. Now see here, this is the arm wraps, leg wraps, shoulder, then we're up to the spear. So I think there isn't nearly as much work as I thought there was going to be. Let's go down to the arm wraps first. Okay. So I think there's going to be clipping here between that and the shoulder on the left. Nope, shoulder on the right. Yeah. Okay, so there's obviously some clipping. So the question is, how do I want to handle this? I know that... Do I want... You know, at first, let me remove the arm wraps. Okay. I didn't realize that that was actually even there. Because whenever I put on the other one, it's there. So this one's just a lot thicker than the other one. So I think what I'll probably do is just remove this arm wrap and copy this one over to that side. Now you'll probably be wondering how I'm going to do that. Well, let's get it figured out. So we're messing with the arm wraps. I'm going to get rid of the shoulders. Arm wraps, I'm going to go down to... And over here on this side, we're going to highlight, hit Control L. That the L means to select everything that's connected to the vertices that I had already clicked on. Which actually, I guess it'd be easier to do it this way. Control L. And now I just hit delete. And the vertices. There we go. Now I'm down to just one sleeve, which is what I wanted. And I can just click on it and go to here and go down to mirror. Where's that at? There it is, mirror. And there it is on to the other side. Like this. And now you will notice that both of these pieces of mesh have the left arm's weights on it, and that isn't going to work. So sorry about that. I had to take a break and come back because I realized I didn't have one of my plugins installed that I normally do. I updated Blender and didn't transfer my plugins. That was whoopsie daisy. Anyways, so the plugin that I use is Mesh Data Transfer. Now, I've showed you one way to copy bone weights, or at least I have in a previous one and cut it out. I don't know. Anyways, this is the way that I do the bone weights. Is instead of copying it from the armature, I copy it from the skin closest to it, which is a lot more precise. That being said, I have already deleted out all my bone weights, which were actually up here. I deleted them all out by clicking on them and hitting the minus button. That removes them. After that, this is the settings I use. It works best for the way I do things. You can do it however you want, but I always do the world, going by the world instead of local. And I select closest. Then for the source, I just click on the body, because that's what I want to grab the weights from, is the body. And then this one here, transfer, no, we don't want transfer shape. There it is. Transfer vertex groups. We click on that one. Now you'll notice that all the weights that we want are on the sleeves. This will be the left, that'll be the right, instead of them both falling around just. So that's a pretty nice tool. It's fast. I love it. It works great. So that's done, and the skirts, that skirt piece is done. We skipped the leg wraps for now. The skirt's done. That's done. Okay, so I guess we're going to go down to the shoulder parts now. That one still doesn't quite fit right, but this side does. That's kind of annoying. Don't know why it's done that way. But it don't matter. I'll just fix it. So what I'm going to do is, yep, this is the one I want. I'm going to go down to sculpt, and I'm just going to make it bigger, make it fit like it should be. Here we are. This is a lot bigger. Perfect. If you're wanting something skin tight, my best advice to do so is actually make it bigger and then shrink it down and then make it bigger again. Each time you want to use a smaller brush. So to make it bigger, I use a big brush, and then to shrink it back down, I want to cut my brush size down just a little bit, and then again and again. Let me look at this, make sure that I'm doing all this right. Yeah, I'm just fighting myself there. I have to get out a funny angle to get that. There we go. Jeez, this is so goofy. So this outfit was not a good one to pick to use to make a tutorial with. Probably screwed it all up here. Yep, I did. See, there's only 3 straps, so I think here's a 3rd one. Yep. There's a 2nd one right there. Okay, and now we're going to want to shrink it back down. Go to subtract, make this a little bit smaller. Okay, and then one to add, and this is actually pretty small, so I'll just keep the brush size the same. Here we go. And that should be good. Let's see how bad it looks afterwards. That ain't too bad. That's acceptable. Probably would have been just as easy to copy from the left and go to the right like I did the sleeves, but I didn't really want to because these pauldrons would be pretty darn hard to get the weights just right on them. And now, it looks like we have some clipping around here. Let's see if I can fix that up. Go down to texture. No, looks like there's no clipping. Well, take that back, there's clipping indeed through here. At least the sleeves look good. They seem to fix the sleeves pretty well. Kinda looks kind of like crap in Blender. So anyways, I want to go down to the top and pull it out right here. That way it'll still look alright. There we go. Which, I mean, honestly, we really want to pull this out here anyways a little bit. There we go. A little bit too far, actually. I'm going to try to smooth that out a smidge. There we go. That looks a lot more natural. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay. So, now we've got that part done. What else is left? It looks like it's just the spear. Oh wait, the leg wraps. So to work on the leg wraps, I'm going to need to actually hide this skirt, just so I can see them. Just a little bit of clipping through here. I'm not even editing what I thought I was editing. There we are. Now let's try it. Okay, well, that's not clipping after all. That's just a hole so you can see through it and make it look more realistic, apparently. So there you have it. It's actually done as far as this part, the Blender part. But now comes the harder part, so to say. Or not really the harder part. That was just the editing of the outfit. Now that that part is done, actually there is still more optimizing to go. I didn't even bother to look at the shoulder pieces. So we got shoulder pad buckles. Man, there's a lot of stuff. So the first thing I see is that these are definitely using the exact same materials. So to fix that, let's go ahead and see what the materials look like first. Strap bends, B, thorns. Is that what those are supposed to be? Shoulder plate, straps. That's a lot of stuff. Start off with the strap ends, which is strap ends. I can already tell you this is probably gonna be more than materials what I'd like to mess with. And then B, thorns. I don't even remember seeing that anywhere. B, thorns. Is that going to be the same? That's the same. Nice. The more things that are using the exact same textures is going to be the better for me. Because I want to cut out a lot of this stuff. Plate trim. QR. I don't know I gotta say my ABCs all the time. And that's the same. Shoulder plate and strap ends again. We know that's the same. It's like that shoulder plate. Shoulder plate, yeah, that's the same too. Whoops. Okay, so buckles and shoulder pad. Buckles. Buckles are all the same. Shoulder pads. Shoulder pads the same. So far this is going on really, really nice. Arm scales, it does look a little bit different. Arm scales and rivet. But no, it's the same so far. Let's go look for a rivet. Yep, they're all using the exact same, just slightly different settings. And to me, that's not worth it. I want to cut them all out. So I'm just going to bloop, bloop, and then just cut out all the rest of these. This way everything will just use the one material. And I'm using arm scales. So I'm going to do the same thing for this one because I know it's the same. In fact, I'm actually just going to cut out the material for that whole one. It'll be alright. Because in the prefab I can fix that. So that sure is nice that it's that way. We got both of those done. The skirt, yeah, I remember that. Arm wraps, nice. Wrappings and arm wraps. Let's check that out. Wrappings. And arm wraps, yep. That's pretty different. Okay, that can just stay. Leg wraps, I assume, is probably going to be the same. Yep. Alright, I'm actually pretty happy with this. I cut it down to very few materials, and I'll handle the poly on my own time. Because this is like a messed up one. I don't know what's up with it. But normally, you know, I would just click on one, I'd go down to edit mode, and as you see, it's very high poly, which is not very efficient. I don't have any need for that much. So what I normally do is go down to edge and then hit unsubdivide. See, that looks a lot better. That's more game friendly, and it's a lot better. This is what I'd be happier with using. But look at this. I go down to UV editing, And I'm going to zoom out. Okay. That's wonderful. That one actually worked out just fine. I want to just, I guess I can do the shoulder pads. I'm going to definitely just do that. Let me fix this. There we go. Zoom on in. And we go down to edge, unsubdivide. Bam. That's actually wonderful. I'm pretty happy about that. Maybe it's just the version of Blender I was using on the previous video. Here's this. Let's check it out. See if this messes up or not. Yep, it's messed up. It's got lines all up and down it. So we can't do that one this way. Arm wraps, we will see. We'll do UV, or wait, sorry, edge, unsubdivide. Yep, it's got these lines all through it, which means it just broke. Can't do the arm wraps. Here's the actual skirt. Now this one here really messed up for me, and I'll bet you it's going to mess up over here as well. Yep. I'm hitting Control Z to undo that, by the way. And this is the top shirt. I don't know what you want to call that. Halter. And edge. And subdivide. Yep, it messes up too. Okay. So I have optimized this as much as I can get it without going to some crazy work, which I will do on my own. So let's go back. That's optimized. So now we're going to switch back into the correct body that we need to be using, which is in my project. For me, I created a little tool so I can just open them up quick and easy. But you want to save an original Blender file of your body that you're going to use in your game. One for your male, one for your female, or depending on how you do it, you can have one that has both. This way it saves your skeleton information in your armature. Otherwise, this will just never work right. So I'm opening up my original Blender project. And of course it's, there we go. And I have a lot of races and stuff inside of mine. So I delete those out because I don't need them in what I'm going to be doing. I don't need the eyes, I don't need the eyelashes. I'm not even sure if I need the head. Do I need the head? Nope, the head won't be needed. What I'm doing is I need to remove every piece of the body that I'm not going to need. Don't need the lips. I need that. I don't need the mouth. I don't need a mouse tail. Don't need any of that. Don't need that. There we go. Now I'm down to my bare basics. This is the body that is RCK friendly. It has the cuts in all the right places that it needs to be, as you can see. With that being said, now I come over here to the armor that I just got through working on, and I'm going to select just the armor pieces. I'm going to hit Control C for copy. So you can see it down here, it says copied 7 selected data blocks. And now you go down to your original body here, that is your Blender file, your master Blender file. And I just hit Control V, and it brings it on in. Now, mine is scaled a little bit differently to make it work better for Unity and my assets that I use. So this part will be different. So I'm just going to adjust mine real quick. There. Okay, now yours should have looked like this as soon as you imported it in. If you didn't, it's not too big of a deal because now you know how to fix it and edit it. Every once in a while I do have clipping, and it's okay. So the best way to do this, in my opinion, is go ahead and join all your body parts together to make your body into one shape. I didn't mean to copy that over. So now we're going to grab all the pieces and put it inside the original armature that we will be using for the game, and delete the one we don't need, and verify you don't have any clipping real quick. If you do, you just need to go fix it real quick. I can't hardly tell if I do or not. Let me take a closer look. Nah, that's something else. That's for the shoulder pad. I think I might have a little bit right here. Yeah, I do. So on this one, oops, let me find what is that going to be. That's the skirt. Sculpt. There we go. And tool. To make that a little bit bigger. And I want to use symmetry because if it's going to clip here, it's probably going to clip over there as well. And then I got to adjust this a little bit as well, but that's okay. So symmetry on the X. Pop. Ah, it didn't mess with it enough. We're all right. Yeah, we got some clip. Whoa, we got a lot of clipping over here. Of course, this could also just be caused from the transferring of the meshes. It does sometimes mess things up. That is expected. But I still do it this way. Saves me from making accidents as easily. Okay, I'm going to say we're good there. Now, oh, I say that, look at that, there we go. Just all kinds of spots that need work. There it is. Okay, that should get it. Now, my game's set up a little bit differently than Silvamat's. On his, he just has blend shapes on just the face, which that's fine. There's no problem with that. But me, I use blend shapes to make different races and shapes of body, and because of that, mine's a little bit extra work. And I'm going to show you that because you might do yours the same. So first we want to go ahead and make sure that all of our armature is set right. That's going to save us a lot of trouble later on if it's not. Just get all these real quick. Okay. So I got all those done. They're all in the right armature. The next step is another plugin that I have. It is called, I don't even know. Shape Key Wrap is what it's called. I believe it is a free tool. I think I've only bought one or two plugins for Blender, so you'd have to just hunt down that name, Shape Key Wrapper. And it's very friendly, very easy to use. We're going to start off with the shoulder harness, and so you select whatever outfit piece you want to use, and then you hold down Shift and you click on the body, and it knows what to do with that. You'll want to hit Transfer by List, hit Refresh, check All. Now what it does is these are all the morphs or shape keys whichever program you're using, it'll call it differently. But these are all the shape keys or blend shapes that is on your body. And what you're doing is you're transferring them, or I should say copying them from the body, and it'll edit them and make it as close as it can get to make it match and make the outfit pieces go correctly with that. All you gotta do is hit transfer shape keys. And depending on how fast your computer is, this could take quite a while, or it could just take a couple seconds. So I'm just going to fast forward through the rest of this until they're all done. Hopefully I didn't skip out a whole bunch. But anyways, all the other ones are already done. This is just the shirt-like part. And we're going to be making LODs out of it. And we're going to make it look like it's just fallen onto the ground. And as far as the metal parts versus non-metal parts, I put the arm on the ground and I made it look like it's just metal, which it's supposed to be. Metal just sitting on the ground. Metal doesn't flatten without a hammer, and of course if it's going to be hammered on the ground, it's not going to be worth anything except for scrap iron. So there it is, and that's what I'm going to be using. But as for the top part, which is made out of cloth, I'm going to be handling it a little bit different. I go down to side view so I can see what I'm doing. I go to edit, and I'm going to rotate just negative 90 degrees to make it fall backwards looking. And then I'm going to lower it down to the ground. And I'm going to flatten it. This is just how I do it. You can do it however you want if you already have a system. If not, you are more than welcome to adopt my way to do this. I get it to look like it's on the ground, just like so. There it is. And we're going to zoom in. As you see, it's very high poly, and it is not needed. So the way to work around this is I'm going to make it into LODs. This way, when you're real close to it, it still has the real high quality. You can see all the grooves. It'll look real great. But when you're real far away, you're not going to be able to see that anyways. So let's save ourselves some rendering power and make LODs. The way we're going to do that is, of course, go to add. When you're in object mode, go to add, and then empty. I use plain axis, but you can use whatever you want. I'm going to rename it to top. And then my mesh, I have top LOD 0. With Unity, you can, it'll import LODs as long as it's named this way. LOD 0, LOD 1, LOD 2, and LOD 3. And you can go all the way up to, I believe it's 8 of them all together, so it'd be LOD 7. I think that's the limit. I don't really ever go up that high. If you don't know how to do that part there, you hold shift and then you drag, and before you drop, you just hold alt and then drop. And then that'll keep its transforms and scale the same. And we're going to need to delete all the armature off of this. And now we're going to add in decimate. Decimate is probably Blender's #1 feature that you really can't compare to them when it comes to decimating. It does a wonderful job of cutting out poly without affecting the shape very much. Let's go ahead and show you real quick. So I'm going to be cutting this one down to 1/8 of its size. Would that be right? Let's see here, 50, 25. Yeah, about 1/8 of its original poly count. You barely tell a difference. That being said, that's actually still really high poly, but that's okay, because now I'm going to make a collision mesh, and this collision mesh is going to be completely ugly because nobody's really going to be able to see it anyways. But we need to cut out as much poly and faces and stuff as possible to cut out on as much rendering as possible. that work? Yeah, that ought to be just fine. See, it doesn't really matter what it looks like as long as it's holding the shape. And it's only 206 as far as the face count. So that ought to be pretty lightweight in comparison to using one of the original meshes. So then we're going to apply that. And whenever it's a collision mesh, we just remove that. We remove the materials because we're not going to be using those, I should say. And now I'm going to go through here, make sure that I don't have any modifiers on anything by accident. Nope, I don't. So this here is just the in-game or in-world models, I should say. We're going to export, and what I do is I give it the same name and then just put in GND for ground model and hit export. Shouldn't take real long. Okay, so now now that I've got the ground object in game, I'm going to just simply drag and drop it on in. This is the next step for the ground meshes. I'm going to first unpack everything completely. And you'll notice it did import the LOD group. Bad part is it didn't do it on all of these, but that's okay. I'm just hit copying component, and then highlight all 4 of these. Why did it do that? That wasn't very nice. Oh, whoops. There we go. Paste component as new. Now you just got to go through and delete all the ones that are not the arm. For example, we know that's the left arm, that's the one we need, so we can just delete all the rest of these out. Then same with this. And you will do this to all the parent game objects until you have your LOD set up. Okay, now your LOD groups are set up. We can delete the original parent one. And then, yeah, that's great so far. Now we're going to be adding in a mesh collision to all the parents at once. And I forget that you will need to delete out the collision meshes. There we go. And now you'll want to put those in here, inside the mesh collider. This is the left arm, and then the leg wraps, and then the skirt, and then the top. There we go. And the way that Silvamat does it is all of his are, well, I noticed it, I only get it to work on convex. I know I'm doing something wrong, but it's alright. So I changed it all to convex after that, and then this is the part where his handy dandy little kit comes in. And as for, whoop, forgot to do the material handling. So as far as materials, to make it easier, what you can do is I just select actual materials, drop down, I hit Control C on my keyboard, then go to left arm, and I just do this to all of them. There we go. See, that looks pretty nice. Holy moly. That is not correct. I was wondering why it seemed so different, so wrong. What in the world is it doing? Let's recalculate those bounds. Something's just not right. There we go. That seemed to have fixed it. I haven't had to do that before. I don't know why it was making me do it this time. Yeah, now the LOD's setting up right. That was wild. I don't know what to think about that. I'm going to do that to all of them real quick. That's just messed up. There we go. Oops. So those are all set back up. And now we go back to doing the materials. This is the leg wraps. Leg wraps. There's that. And then the skirt. There we go. And then the top, which is the last piece for me. Alright, now I can come over here and save myself a little bit of hassle on this. There's no rigging, there's no animation. I really don't need the materials either out of all that. That makes the actual build a little bit smaller, I believe. That's what I understand anyways. Might be wrong. So now is the part where we're going to be using the RCK to bring all this in. Okay, so from here, we're going to be going to the Create New Item in World. And I'm going to be doing we'll do the leg wraps. That'll be nice and easy. There they are. They look flat and horrible. Yeah, that'll be alright. I'm not worried about it. Leg wraps, we'll call these the Priest. I want to say shin guards, but for now I'll go with leg wraps till I can think of a better word for it. And then your physical collider type, that's you can pick whichever one you want to use. But for the physical collider of this one, I'm actually going to use a mesh collider, but I noticed that convex actually works a little bit better. Then for the trigger collider, this one here, I normally use a box one. The box, it's just easier to handle. Now what this is whenever your raycaster hits the box, it signals RCK engine or kit to put on the text on the screen so that you can pick it up to activate. And then you'll see I already made one because I somehow managed to hit stop recording after I didn't realize I was already done making it, so I'm doing this again, but that's cool. So we're going to do create the RPG creation kit and items and then armor item. Even if it's an outfit, it's still considered armor in the RCK. We try to use the armor like that. It'll make it easier inside of a selector box and many other things. It kind of keeps it organized much better. Then I always put the name of the outfit. This is the priest outfit, and it's going to be the leg wraps. Now from there, I drag and drop it into this part. And you will not have this. That is something that I added in. And then it is just one. This part's really handy for regular items, like if you have a quiver that's on the ground, you could put it, you can make it pick up arrows and then put in 20 arrows. And so you pick up a quiver and then you gain 20 arrows. Or same thing with like a bag of gold or something. And it has a prefab yet. I go and edit and do all that. So as you progress and get faster and faster at it, you'll hit complete and reset and just go on to the next one and do them all at once. But I'm showing you one at a time, so I'm going to hit complete and close, and it says you've done it. Yay! So we're going back to the leg wraps. Here's the one that I have already made. It is a convex. It is a leg wrap. You were there with me when I did that one. And here's the one that his kit actually makes. The issue with it is that he doesn't have it set up for using LODs, which is fine. That's just something that I prefer because I use kind of a higher poly. But if you did not make LODs and you're using a lower poly, then it will have your mesh already in there, which is pretty handy dandy. What it looks for is your mesh filter, your mesh render, which I don't have one on this game object. It's actually it's in the children, or my game object, for the actual mesh part. So I'm going to take this one and I can just delete it out. And now the box collider, I'm sure that whenever I was exporting this out, there's a better way to do it. But on mine, it's always way huge. So I always have to hit 0.01, 0.01, and 0.01. That gets me to where I can at least manage it. From there, like I said, this is the part that your raycaster hits. So we want it to be actually a little bit bigger than the objects. Not a whole lot, to where when you're trying to pick something up, you're grabbing everything else around it instead. That would just be annoying. But you do want it a little bit bigger. I've noticed that it helps tremendously making it so. Dang it. I'm not doing very good with clicking today. Let's see here. There's the dot. I think I'm going to come on through here and just make these other parts invisible. That I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Okay. It's actually not too far off for not being able to see what I was doing. But it is off. I'm going to fix it. This needs to come out a little bit. This can come in. So that you can adjust this however you like. I do suggest that you go in game and test it out, find what you're more comfortable with, what you think will be better for your game. This is how it is with mine, and it works out nice for me. So there we go. Now I have the box collider set up and the mesh collider set up. Everything else is already done. You can adjust things as you want. And then from here, we're going to need to go down to parts, and I made another folder called InWorld, and that's where I drop the item at. From here, I'll be going to the leg wraps, and you can just skip straight on to configure item, is what I do. And the item ID, or the item, yeah, ID 00 is what I always start off with. It makes it in my head so I know which one's the ID and which one's a name. If I'm searching for ID specifically, I know I can type in 00 and find ID numbers a lot faster. Whoops. And I always start off with the name of the outfit and then go with whatever. That way, if I can't remember, like, did I call it priest shoes? Priest, guards, what? I just type in priest, and then there'll be a list of like 5 or 6 different things, which makes the outfit, and then I can select on it. The more organized you can get, the better in the long run. I'm going to say, yeah, 1 pound, that'd be alright. And it should probably be more like a leather. Now, I do suggest you make like a Google Sheets setup with all this stuff already down on there. Like, if it's leather, this is what it should be weighing about between this distance, and it should be worth about this, and stuff like that. That way you can have something to go off of to keep your consistency. I haven't made one yet. I am lazy. I really need to get on that. I'll probably do that after this video. But then you can fill out this stuff here to get that done. And now this is for my legs or feet, so I can mark foot. And the tooltip, I only use it for quest items or special items, but this isn't either of which, so I'm going to uncheck that. And you can configure your sounds of picking up, drop, add inventory, or remove from inventory, equipped, use. Then you come on down to your parts. Now your skinned mesh is the part that goes onto your body, obviously. So we will be putting that onto there. And then the bottom one, which is the world model, we call it the InWorld. There we go. And then for the sprite, here's how I do it. You can do it however you want, but this is the way I do it. So I just make it look like it should be. And then I take a screenshot of it, like so. And then I go inside of GIMP. GIMP is one of my favorite free texture editing apps. Then from here, I go down to colors and I desaturate it. And then I go down to brighten and contrast. This way, people can kind of, making it black and white is actually a better way to capture detail. And then not only that, because like I said, these items on that screen are going to be really small, so you want to try to give them as much detail out of it as you can. That being said, you make it black and white and really add some contrast to it, they're going to be able to tell what it is a whole lot easier than normal. From there, we're going to be doing the merge visible layers. Hit merge, and then I go down to the select by color tool, and I have very low radius, very low threshold. This allows me to select the background and hit delete, which that's going to be handy in game because it'll give it a how do I put it? It'll just make the background transparent. I think it's easier to see that way as well. And then from there, we're going to export as, and as you can see, I've already made the sleeve one, so this one's going to be leg wrap. There we go. And I save it as a PNG. I may go through this part pretty fast because I've done a lot of texturing. I have a lot of experience there. So if you need to go back and watch any of that, feel free. Here's the images folder I made for those to be in. And for it to work, you'll want to go down to Sprite 2D UI. Everything should already be set, but if not, alpha is transparency if you do it the way I did it. And then, there you go. See, it actually making it in black and white added a whole lot more detail. You can see everything a lot better. That's why I did it the way I do it. Then hit OK. And there you go. Now you have the sleeves and the wraps. And that being said, you can go back and do everything that you need to do. Okay, so I have everything done. And now that we have them all created, I gotta delete everything out of this area. I don't want them in here. There we go. Now, those are all done. I need to update all databases. And it'll tell me at the very bottom if there's an issue. Didn't seem like there was, so that's good. I do have 4 errors. It's probably, yeah, that's related to something else. Okay, so I'm going to make an NPC. I'm going to be making a walking around priest and attach it to them. Well, I guess you need to see that part too, so we'll go over that. And that's going to be the RCK editor. And of course, I've only made the female side, so we're going to be making a new female. Let's see here. I think you come over here and you right click. Yeah, that's what you do. Then hit new, and new RCKAI. We're going to name it to, this is the ID, so I can put in this. Since I'm going to be having generic priests, you know, I should say there's going to be a lot of them, and I'm not really going to sit there and name them all. They'll be kind of named like guard 1, guard 2, well, just say guard, but I'm going to be making them into levels the way I'm doing this. So I'm going to say priest level, I'm going to start off with level 1, okay, press level 1, female, Female, there we go. And then the name, I'm just going to put in priest. For now, I'll probably end up putting sister or whatever, brother or whatever, and go from there. The race is going to make it human, and it's going to be a female. Probably not essential. I'll leave all that alone for now, except for this. Let's see here. That one's mine. And we're just going to leave her default looking for now. Inventory is what I'm looking for. I need 4 spots. This is where the armor and priest comes in handy. We're going to be doing the left sleeve, the leg wraps, the skirt, and the top. And now this is the actor's inventory, and to make them wear it, you just hit these little arrows here. This will make them start off wearing these things. So let's say you add in some coins. For example, I think I call it gold actually. Let me see. Misc gold item, right? Let's say they're going to be carrying around 100 gold, which would be a lot in this game. If I hit this and make them wear it, I don't know what it'll do. It'll probably mess something up, so don't do that. If, you know, I think you can make them wear a weapon, but as far as gold, potions, stuff like that, don't make them wear it. Okay, we'll leave that right there, just how it is. Now we will just hit save, and then there they are, the new one. And then we're going to be done. Actually, I want to come over here and select the prefab, make sure it looked alright. That's it right there. I'm going to double click on her, make sure the skin's all there. Yep, we're all good then. Okay. Now, where am I going to put them at? Put her at? I'm going to put her in. I'm going to make her easy to get to. We're going to go down to. I didn't change anything. Of course, it's got to save everything. It's going to take a minute. I think I need to go down to like cell 3-1, be easy to get to. And of course, you can just put this equipment inside of a container. In fact, well, no, here, I'll show you that here in a little bit. We're going to go down to cell 3-1. Yeah, this is where I was wanting to be. Okay, so we're going to put in the priest right here. Yeah, mine looks a little bit different. That's that. And let's say you want to just put in that equipment that we just made. It's not a big deal at all. We'll go down to where you have your stuff at, which is right here. And we'll go into parts and your InWorld. These are what you put down on the ground. For example, a top, a skirt, the leg wraps, and the left arm shoulder thing. And now that you got them in the world, which you will need to do, I'll leave these right here for now, but normally you need to put them inside of structures or something. She will pop up inside of AI container on her own after I update the cell, which is what you need to do next. Cell information, we're going to hit regenerate. Well, if you have scripts on an item, you don't want to hit regenerate, because that'll kind of mess things up. But I don't have any scripts on anything, so I'll just go ahead and show you both ways to do this. You'll want to come on down here to your item in world, which I think I've already shown you this, but it's the regenerate GUID string. You need to do this for everything inside every item that you put down into a world. But we're going to regenerate all, because that's the only 4 things I have in here that's an item that you can pick up. Okay, so those are now generated. Just want to go over it just to make sure. Yep, they're all, if one's done, I assume they're all done. And now we're going to go to update cell. Yes. And as you see, when I updated, I don't know if it done it whenever I regenerated or updated, but she got moved inside of the AI container, which is right here, which is pretty handy. The reason it does that is to kind of keep things more organized. And I believe there's probably a script that calls the AI container and the children, which are the NPCs. So I just assume that's how it works. I haven't really dug deep into that. But we have everything in place. She should be wearing the priest outfit, and there's going to be random items on the ground for me to pick up and show you. And let's see here. Am I missing anything else? Just to be sure, now that we got everything updated here, let's update everything one more time in the update all databases. And now we're going to hit Control Save. And now we're going to go in game and check it out. See if I got everything working. So here we are in game. Let me blow this up a little bit so we can see better. And there you have it. Of course, I got a little bit of clipping, but we can go back and we can fix that. And her hand is sitting a little bit funny. But otherwise, it's all there. It looks good. Not really much to complain about. Let's see here. There's the leg wraps. Got it. There's the priest top. That's what I mean by you probably need to go over the collision or that square a little bit better. So you'd think as soon as you get to it, Yeah, I need to do a little bit better with my boxes. But there you are. And now you can go into your inventory. Which mine's all kind of goofed up. I need to fix mine back up. There's the... yeah, I need to fix mine a little better. But anyways, there's your priest top, your priest leg, priest skirt, left sleeve, I said leg, leg wraps, top, skirt, and there's your icons, your sprites, and of course we could wear them. I really need to fix my camera view. I just realized that you can't even see my guy in there. But normally you'd be able to click on them and you'd be able to wear them, but I don't have a male counterpart, and I chose to be a male, which is probably the wrong time to choose to be a male. But anyways, I normally be able to click on them and wear them. Either way, see, I can click on them and I can drop them. I have my game, whenever I pause it, it goes into really slow mode, so you just see everything kind of drop. But you hold shift and you click on things to drop, in case you didn't know that. There we go. And that's how you know you did an alright job. Looks pretty good. Surprised I got that my first try. Normally I had to go back and redo everything.